Hello, and welcome back to a special episode of this Pokemon Scarlet Surprise Trade Crochet Badge Quest here on the I've Pet That Pokemon channel. I say this is a special episode because I won't be performing a trade and gaining another badge this time around. If you caught the last episode with Iron Treads, you'll know that Skiddo, our first trade partner, evolved into the Mount Pokemon Gogoat. I don't have a ton to talk about here. We're not going on a journey to our next objective, so let's jump straight into the crochet, beginning with a closer look at Gogoat's design. Gogoat's head is almost egg-shaped, with brown fur accents running down the nose. They have Dorito-shaped ears, but their most prominent feature are the handlebar-shaped horns atop their heads. A small diamond shape sits between each horn on the forehead, and then they twist and turn up and back so that the rider can hold on. Similarly with its pre-evolution Skiddo, Gogoat has a bushy neck mane that runs down its back, ending with a larger tail than Skiddo. It's almost oak-leaf shaped. The body is standard rectangle-like, with spikes of dark brown zigzagging across the top. One thing I didn't note in my drawing is that Gogoat's chest is thicker than the back portion of its body. The legs sprout from the tan-coloured fur and then act in a similar shape to Skiddo's. They go from dark brown to white to the orange-coloured hooves. A small spiky spur sits at the back of each heel. Colours for this project will be brown for the face accents, body pattern and part of the legs, tan for the bulk of the body and top of the legs, white for the head and part of the legs, black for the horns, orange for the hooves, and green for the grassy mane and tail. I begin with the head in white. I'll be working this in the same way I did Skiddo, doing the base in white and adding the brown features on top. I also realised that I made Skiddo so big, he dwarfs my other crochets I've made since. Gogoat is naturally bigger than Skiddo, but I don't want to make this huge goat creation, so unfortunately this won't be to scale. I can do some Hobbit camera trickery to make them seem different sizes when it comes to taking photos. Anyway, I finish the egg head and decide to tackle the horns. I usually put off odd shapes as much as I can because they scare me and I don't know what I'm doing. It takes a lot of trial and error to get the shape I want from each horn. They look decent enough and I make the small diamonds to attach them to as well before quickly crafting the nose and finishing with the black yarn. I make a brown circle which I can fasten to the back of the head. On the same piece, I make these curved triangles that run down Gogoat's face, shaping the eyes. The nose strip is made separately, and I pin it all to the head to check how it's looking. I'm really happy so far, and stitching it together reinforces that. I'm surprised I shaped it so well. And then I packed up and took a break for a month. We had some work done to our house, mainly the room where I crochet. Then we welcomed a new addition to the family, then I had to repaint the living room. Then came Fossil Week 2024 and my camera was tied up for weeks filming my shiny hunts. A video will be out for this soon. I eventually came back to this project near the end of August, when I could set up again and power through. Luckily the Paralympics have started, so I had a good chunk of entertainment while I crochet. I left with the head mostly done, so let's move on to the body. I make a big old circle in tan and continue until I feel it should decrease in size. I stuff the xenomorph egg as I go and continue round until I can finish off. I usually toss all the audio for these sections, but my new nephew wants to add something. Thank you. I size it up to the head to check I'm doing okay. Gogoat has an unusually small head compared to its body. The grassy mane seems to hide it well. I start the legs at the bottom with the hooves in orange. I can do them quite similarly to Skiddo's, but I want more of a slant in them. I switch to white after a few rounds and continue upwards, slanting it back the other way. I get people ask me occasionally about patterns, and while I do write everything down, I'd like to stress that I'm not a professional at this by any means. I've been crocheting for about 8 years now, but only really have a grasp at basics. The patterns I write down are haphazard. They don't fully make sense, they're not tested, I never make anything more than once. I don't want these videos to be tutorials, and I probably won't sell anything like these due to copyright. If you ask for a pattern and I oblige, just know that you may have to put in the work to decipher what I mean and fix any of my mistakes. After the colour changes, I switch to tan and work in the front loops to make the furry tufts where the two lengths of hair meet. I can then continue up the leg and make a flap so I can affix it to the side of the body. Skipping over the back legs, which are pretty much the same pattern but with a larger thigh due to the slimmer body section, I pin all 4 legs to the body. He's looking so sturdy and I really love it so far. Gogoat has some shaggy hair on his underbelly, so I make some tufts before fixing everything to the base body. It's really coming together. I work on the back pattern next. I thought it best to make a rectangle shape, making one end slightly wider than the other. Then I work back and forth, making triangles on either sides. Getting distracted as I usually do, I realised I never fully finish the head, and so make these triangles to sit at the base. Gogoat has this beard kind of going on. I also make a sort of triangle for each ear in brown. I stitch all that together and now the head is fully crocheted. I'll add the eyes on in felt at the end as I usually do. I can now begin with the grass part of Gogoat, starting with the tail. I experimented a bit with different ideas on how to make the oak leaf shape and settled with this pattern. Almost similar to any wave I've done in the past, but angling it to one side. I had a piece of wire down the centre so it can stay sturdy and be moved if need be. Then comes the back mane, pretty much exactly the same as Skiddo's, a long rectangle with a wave of semicircles down the side. And again, similarly to Skiddo, I make the neck mane by creating a circle and adding the leaves in bunches around. I make 3 leaves of various size and pin them to the body to check it all over. I add some wire into Gogoat's head and sew it all together to make him nice and sturdy. I thought I was fully finished, but I forgot one part, these little spurs at the back of each foot. I quickly make 4 cones and sew them on. I can then cut the eyes out of felt and glue those on, and Gogoat, after over a month in the making, is complete. He doesn't have a badge to win, but let's go out and celebrate anyway. Show her up, eat some nice food, and go shopping for new clothes. This fancy Gogoat has earned it. Thanks so much for watching. The next video should be another shiny hunting video, and I will begin the crochet on my next team member shortly. I hope the gap between videos won't be this long again. If you caught the clue in my last video as to who's coming next, feel free to leave me a comment. Leave me a comment anyway on what you thought of this, or who your favourite of the team has been so far. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.